Hey everyone, and welcome to Already Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Twin Peaks Season 2, Episode 10. It's called Dispute Between Brothers. And when I checked that title there, I had to really think about what the hell that was referring to, because it was a
Really?
really,
That
it was a really
that was
small.
probably the most memorable bit of the episode for me.
Okay, sure, but it was a really small part of it. Like I had to really think, because
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
in mind, you just finished watching it. It's been about an hour and a half since I finished watching it. Okay, I had to think about it.
Okay, but it's not like it refers to only that.
Oh sure, but like I was racking my brain and like you know.
Uh,
Anyway, so aye, full spoilers for the episode as always. So this was the notorious step down that was coming that we knew about, and it didn't feel like it leapt off the cliff right away because the opening we opened with a little conversation in the funeral of Leland
yeah.
Palmer, and there was some nice music playing throughout, nice and stuff. And there were some other good bits of music throughout as well. Of course, some of the classic things came back, some of the new things that were quite good. However, before I get to the moment where it kind of dove off a cliff, I do want to mention the music was kind of bothering me, even though I liked a lot of it. For some reason, this episode was terrified of not having music playing, and it was
Yeah, that was a
constantly
lot of
playing.
it, wasn't it?
It was playing constantly. There was really a like if it stopped playing at all, it was like 10 seconds, and then it was right back up.
Yeah.
It felt constant, and there was a couple of really egregious scenes where like, especially when the drums were involved, it felt like the drums were too loud.
Yeah, I thought it was the scene with Bobby,
Yes.
especially the one Bobby, where he's pacing outside and he speaks to Audrey.
Yeah, I was on the police station as well. I'm sure. I think it was when Catherine was speaking to the sheriff.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with the mix, but like, 'cause obviously that drum piece has been used all throughout the show.
Mm.
And it's been fine. I've never had an issue with it up until this episode, where suddenly it's like I'm struggling to hear the dialogue.
Which is weird. We knew there was like a downgrade in quality coming, but I didn't think it was going to come in the form of the sound mix.
No, I didn't. I didn't think it would be a technical issue.
Yeah, it's weird. Uh, but yeah, so the funeral scene was fine, and it was playing to Twin Peaks' quirky strengths. Like we had these two old guys start fighting, and we find out one's the mayor, the other one's like a journalist, and they've been feuding for years because of when he was running for mayor. He did an article
Yeah, yeah,
against
they're
him, and
brothers.
they're brothers, yeah. Uh, and like, oh, okay, right, okay, this feels like a new thing they're introducing, so we can have a plot about it. But it still felt in tone of the show, like it felt kind of
It did.
there. But Cooper's talking about leaving. He's talking about going on, and Major Briggs like, "Oh, let's go fishing together before you go leave." And he's like, "Yeah, sure, we'll go fishing." Uh, which kind of set up the weird thing about this episode, where it kind of felt like it didn't know what the plot was supposed to be. It just kept like Cooper's going fishing, and he goes
Yeah, yeah.
fishing
He's talked about
until a
how he
point.
had he had vacation time.
Yeah,
He's like, oh, maybe I'll use that, but then he's going to leave anyway.
yeah. Well, he's going fishing, then he's leaving. But I'll tell you the moment where, cause again, there were scenes with like Andy and Lucy, there were scenes with other things, and there was some stuff that felt a bit, yeah, okay, it feels like they're kind of just doing things to kill time almost, to an extent.
Yeah,
But the moment for me, when I realised kind of, like, this is where it's going down, this is where the first thing they're really introducing that's really bothering me, it's when Cooper's about to leave, he's saying goodbye to everyone, and the scene's all good, he's saying bye to Hawk, he's saying bye to Andy, he's saying bye to Lucy, he's about to walk out, and then an FBI agent and a Mountie walk in the police station, and are like,
yes.
Cooper, you're under investigation. And the camera does this like this quick track into Cooper as the shot hits his face, and it was like a really over the top, really generic piece of TV like camera work that
Yeah.
I don't expect from this show.
Yeah, there's especially as well when we get to the end of the episode, the direction it's just not up to standard.
No, it's not because context, and obviously the ending is a weird thing. Like they do this weird thing at the end because they realize, oh, we need to keep doing weird stuff because that's kind of what the show is.
Yeah.
But it feels like it's just doing weird because it's trying to mimic Lynch, and it kind of comes
It
off
doesn't
strange.
it's the direction of it. It's just it doesn't feel like it's sure in what it's showing me.
Yeah. Whereas the one thing you might not understand what the hell Lynch is doing, but you don't doubt for a second he knows exactly what he's doing in the scene.
Yeah. And even when it hasn't been Lynch directing some of the weirder episodes, we've just had, the regular directors from the
Yeah,
show.
the last one, for example, wasn't Lynch, but it still felt like it was part of the show.
Exactly. There was still a confidence in the direction, whereas this, it felt like, hang on, we don't know what we're doing anymore. Like, we don't know what this show is. So they didn't really have that confidence in showing any of it.
Yeah, there was some scenes I liked. I liked the scene with Lucy's up in the ladder and like Dick
Yeah.
climbs up the other side, and he's making all these like promises and stuff, and Lucy's not buying it, and Andy's getting like really frustrated because he's listening around the corner, and he comes round, and I love that he steps on the ladder the same side as Lucy, up a couple of rungs, and he says, "Look, until this baby's coming, like we're in an awkward position," and I just laughed out loud because he literally just stepped on the ladder behind Lucy,
Yeah.
and I almost like I felt it was a really missed opportunity to not go to a wide shot as soon as he said that to show them
In the
all,
awkward
yeah,
position.
in this
Yeah.
really awkward position where all three of them are on a ladder. But yeah, no, that scene was fun. Like they remembered some of the characters might be in high school. They even saw the high school, although
I
admittedly,
know.
the funny thing about it though is it cut to the high school, and I'm like, oh, we're going to high school, and then the character that it was about was Nadine.
Cracked me up. I was like, oh, okay. So they haven't properly remembered.
Well, no, later in the scene, Audrey did say to Bobby, "Aren't you supposed to be in school?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"What about you?"
Yeah.
Admittedly, she was just kidnapped like a week ago, and she was forced heroin, so I guess she's entitled to some time off.
I think you would be.
Yeah, I think you would be. Yeah, the time to go cold turkey and kick the habit.
Exactly. A little bit of peace and quiet.
Well, maybe it's not kicking the habit if you were force fed heroin one time. Well, that's maybe not quite the same thing, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, Audrey had a really nice scene with Cooper. Actually, I thought like, again the sort of awkward goodbye where she's like trying to like convince him still, and he's like, "Yeah, you're a teenager." And she's like, "Look, one day I'm going to be grown up, and I'm
Yeah.
coming for you." Like, and he's like, "All right, I'll agree to the possibility that when you're grown up, I might not be able to resist, but until then."
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was nice. She's like continuing her sweet thing with him, which makes her scene with Bobby that seems to imply there might be the start of a love triangle with Audrey coming into it feel really weird. And just again, we need a plot because again, if they were planning on her having a thing with Cooper and that was going to develop, if it was suddenly said no, we're not doing that, it was like oh shit, we need Audrey to do something. Oh maybe her and Bobby will start flirting.
Yeah. That is kind of what it feels like, isn't it? It's like, oh well, we gotta have her doing something.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, Leo moves a little bit, and it freaks Shelley out.
I like that bit. I like the bit where
Oh yeah.
she's just on the phone and you just see the wheel kind of
Do you know what I think it
turn
is?
into
I
frame.
think there's some stuff that's clearly like it's plots that were going on while Lynch was there, and they were clearly part of this whole thing. So they're continuing them, and they still feel like part of the show because they're still kind of continuing from.
Yeah,
the scenes that
they were
there.
mapped out to some degree.
But then you have, Shelley's mother and her boyfriend thing feels like new shoehorned in. The Mountie, who turns out to be working for John Renault, feels kind of forced in.
Yeah.
But this whole him being investigated by Infernal Affairs, or Internal Affairs, I should say. There's a Chinese movie called Infernal Affairs. I didn't just make that word up.
I'm aware, but I'm just it's amusing that you still got it confused.
Yeah. Well, it's such a similar word, especially since in that movie it's like it's almost Internal Affairs.
Fair enough. I haven't seen it.
Because they're investigating cops. Like that's the kind of the point.
Yeah,
Have you seen The
I
Departed?
get it. No, I didn't
Right.
bother.
'Cause that's based
But
on.
I know what it is. Yeah.
But yeah, so that whole investigation just kind of felt like and then so Cooper still goes fishing. Well, we don't see them fishing, we see them camping, but presumably they're camping near the water.
You have to assume so.
Where they've been fishing. And they're bonding, they're getting along right, and Cooper has to go pee. He goes to pee, and then Major Briggs gets abducted by aliens.
Pretty much.
There's a bright white light.
There's a shot of an owl.
Yeah, because they ponder like, oh, was Bob real? Where is he now? They sort of bring that up again, and he goes to pee, and he notices an owl watching him. Then there's a big bright light, and Major Briggs is vanished when he comes back.
Yeah, and then there's a shot of a figure in the light.
Yes, there is. Yeah, yeah, a person or a being maybe is more inaccurate.
That's why I went with figure.
Yeah, very good, very good. So that's that. Yeah, so. I mean, I'm curious where they're going with this, but obviously it's not as intriguing or
Well,
interesting.
that's the thing. I don't inherently hate this. I just feel like the direction didn't sell me on it. Like it felt like it was confused as to what it was showing me, and that can be okay. You can be. It's a confusing event, so it can look confusing, but it just felt unsure of itself instead.
It doesn't jive with the rest of the show so far. Is kind of the point, though.
Yeah.
We've come to expect a certain uh, fluidity to these weird things, where they still kind of feel like they're part of the fabric of what's going on.
Mm.
Whereas this just kind of felt like, oh right, this is like them trying to be weird, and it feels kind of out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a shame. We mentioned Nadine briefly. And I want to point out, like, typically up until this point in the reviews, when we get to something weird like that, we'll sit and start theorizing what it means, what it's about. Notice how I just went straight on to, well, Nadine's in high school. I just went past it.
Yeah.
I didn't get intrigued, and I didn't start
It,
going
it, it doesn't
nuts.
make you care, does it?
Nah, it's just.
Like, it's like, okay, something happened.
I mean, I could say, oh, maybe he's abducted by the where the Giants from, or is it where Bob and Mike are from. It's abducted him, but because I know that Lynch comes back at the end, and I feel like it'll be Lynch's stuff that's important going forward. I don't know how much of this is just going to feel like side story.
Filler.
Yeah, filler. Yeah,
Yeah.
by the time we get to the end, so it'll be hard to say until we maybe. So I didn't hate watching this episode. It had its moments, and it
Yeah.
did certainly dive off a kind of a cliff at one point. But I think it might get worse though as it goes on, and it becomes clearer how much time we're wasting
I
as
think
the
that's
tail
the
up.
concern, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, this is one episode. It's fine. We've had episodes like this in the past, where where it's kind of not done anything, so to speak. It's just kind of taken a
True,
sidestep.
but they all had stuff that advanced stuff that felt more important later on. Like in
Yeah.
hindsight, they worked better.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. So at the time, we've had episodes like this, and this feels like it could be one of those, except we have this knowledge that
But it's not.
ultimately it's not. Yeah, which is kind of puts a downer on it.
Yeah, as I understand it, 10 through 15 are the worst spot, the worst batch, and I think it's like 11 and 15 are meant to be the absolute worst. So good. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Oh joy!
And then it gets kind of good, not as good as it was, but kind of decent again
Yeah.
for most of the rest of the season. And then the last episode, which Lynch comes back for, is meant to be great again, maybe a
Special.
classic, meant to be
Yeah.
like it's worth getting through this to get to that episode.
Yeah.
So obviously we're holding it hot. But I was going to mention Nadine because we brushed over the fact that she's in the high school. We didn't mention what's going on. Basically, she still thinks she's a teenager. So Ed's went to the principal to ask that, can you enroll my wife who's 35?
Yeah, because Jacoby's just back, and
Jacoby's back.
He's like, yeah, she should be here.
I like Jacoby's back, by the way. I like Jacoby.
I do as well, but it feels like really sudden. It's like, oh, Jacoby's back, and
Yeah, back for the
he's
funeral.
just back for the funeral, and let's quickly push all the problems onto him.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense though. This would be a
It
therapy
does.
issue.
It would.
It kind of
Yeah.
implies that there was only one therapist, and he was out of town, like recovering from a heart attack. So
That is fair. Yeah.
So now he's back, and now he's there at the school, and he's like, "Yeah, we should do this. It'll be good for her to heal." But it's kind of like it shows you how goofy some of this stuff can be, though. When she's at she's at the cheerleading tryouts, and she's like doing her flips and all that, and then it's like, okay, that was kind of goofy and funny. But then she's like, "All right, I'm going to throw the male cheerleader," and I was like, "Wait a minute, she's got super strength now."
Yeah. Because the guys just say that, going, yeah, all right.
Yeah, and then he flies through the air comically, like high and far, and it's like really goofy. And I wonder, like, would this have been like this? I mean, we can't constantly keep going on. Would it have been like this if Lynch was still here? Because obviously most of it wouldn't be. But this was a plot that was going on when he was still there. So
Yeah, it was never as over the top as that, was it?
nah, I mean,
But I didn't hate it.
it made me chuckle, but it did kind of feel like out of the. It took me out of it a little bit. I'm like, oh right, okay, we're doing that. Going
Yeah,
this far now.
I thought the scene was fine with with all the flips, and she just impressed everyone.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of enough, and then it went and threw the kid across a lot of space. I don't know how far, because it kind of just shows us him in the
Oh
air.
yeah. So yeah, there was that.
It's fine.
We didn't see James. We saw Donna briefly at the funeral. She just seems kind of gloomy and, is worried
Yeah.
that James is blaming himself for everything. Jocelyn popped back up very quickly towards the end of the episode, snuck up in Truman. So she's back. Catherine's now knowing to be alive, and that's fine.
Yep.
Benjamin, we also only see briefly when Bobby goes to see him, and he's just kind of. It looks like a wreck. He's just getting over everything that he just went through, being arrested and all the rest of it. But that's.
Oh, I'll
pretty
tell you
much
what I
it.
did like, actually.
Oh, go
That it
on.
opened with Sarah, and
Oh, yeah,
and
sure.
her dealing with it, because obviously we've since the very start, we've not really seen much of her and her having to cope with what's happened, and now obviously it's even worse for her.
And
So
they let us know that he's been drugging her as well
yeah, to
to keep
explain away some of this.
to keep her out of the road while he's doing certain things and whatnot. And that works because we see that she's always, and actually those the one spot of directing I actually really like in this episode is that after this opening scene it returns to that shot we really like from the pilot where it's looking up the stairs. It returns to that
Yeah,
same shot, but now the house is empty. Okay, it's just her.
yeah.
Uh,
The other bit I really appreciate is at the funeral where it's just panning over all the food. I mean,
sure.
if there's one thing that they needed to do to keep it feeling like Twin Peaks, it's just show me a lot of food.
True. True. Yeah, so that's kind of everything. Obviously, we will. I can see. Yeah, this one's a bit shorter than what we typically go on these. I can see that being the case maybe for the next little batch. Well, they're not that great. But then again, if the next some of them are so bad that we get angry, then maybe they will be turned into longer rants, kind of thing.
It's happened before.
It's happened before. But I think ultimately they might get a little bit shorter because if it keeps being bad for the same reasons, we're eventually just going to feel like we're repeating ourselves. We spoke about the direction not being as on point, even not even just compared to, because we already said how the Lynch episodes stood out as being really well directed compared to the
Yeah.
rest, which were fine but not amazing. Whereas this one stood out even compared to the typical ones as being poorer.
Yes.
So that's a shame. And we talked about the sound mix being kind of weird
It's
and
such a strange issue. I mean, what could have caused that? I can't fathom why they'd mess that up all of a sudden.
rushed schedule, so they got a different sound guy, or he was
Maybe. I
someone,
mean,
or they were saving money and just like the producer sat down and did it quickly because he doesn't know what he's doing.
I mean, I just
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
It's such a weird issue to pop up at this point in a show.
Yeah, that is strange. It's just weird to pop up in any show, really. Anything that's broadcast on a proper network, you feel like shouldn't have these kind of problems.
It shouldn't have, but every so often they do crop up here and there, but they're usually consistent within a show of, okay, someone just doesn't know what they're doing. But at this point in a show where, it's been consistently great in terms of sound mix, there's never been a problem until this. And then suddenly it's just, I'm struggling to hear dialogue. I just can't get my head around that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, on one final touch, we mentioned, of course, not Shelley, sorry, Norma's mother. She turns out to be the food critic
Yes.
that we've been hearing about, which felt a little bit anticlimactic and really weird because she says to, because she got a bad review, the restaurant got a bad review, the
Yeah.
diner, and Norma's like, wait, you give me a bad review? And this was a really weird scene for me because the mother says, well, yeah, I couldn't like lower my standards because you're my daughter. I had to give it like a proper review. And she's like, yeah, but what about common decency? I'm like, all right. This is the problem I have with this scene is that I don't agree with Norma because no, she shouldn't give you a nicer review because you're your daughter. But at the same time, I'm also thinking if I'm your mother and I'm a food critic, I would never review your diner.
And also, we've never seen it that bad. Like, it sounds like it was a really harsh review by the
Yeah,
way that Norma's taking it, and it doesn't look that bad. Like,
I
we've never seen it be that bad.
I also think it's a really weird place for a food critic to review it. 'Cause it's like a small diner where they serve simple food. It's not a restaurant where you've got a world class
Yeah,
chef in
yeah,
the
they've
restaurant.
chose to come out here.
Yeah, it's just really weird.
Was weird.
Like all we've seen them serve is stuff like burgers, an
And
omelette,
cherry pie.
cherry pie, like simple stuff, simple things. Like it's not.
And that's what I don't get about it. Like, what was so bad for the review? Because
Well,
all looks fine.
we've seen her hate the omelette like last episode,
Oh, that's true.
so I guess the omelette's shit. But as someone who hates egg, I can get behind the sentiment, but I think all omelets are shit, so that's okay.
Depends what's in it.
Yeah, this is probably what you can expect. Actually, if we do go along in these worst episodes, we're probably going to ramble about weird things a little
And
bit
it's
more.
probably going to be food.
And it's probably going to be food related. Food, specifically donuts, quite often will pop
I
up.
had some donuts while eating this. I also had some cake. My girlfriend baked me a full Victoria sponge today. That's pretty nice.
I'm not. I like cake, but I'm not big on Victoria sponge necessarily.
I'm a simple man when it comes to cake, and that's it. That's as much as I can go.
Chocolate fudge, I'm more.
Nope,
No,
no, can't do it.
can't do it. You just like the most basic cake
I do.
possible.
I'm very simple when it comes to cake.
No, I like a nice cake. You want icing. You want possibly cream. You want all sorts of things.
Oh, we're really getting off topic.
We are really getting off topic. So there you go. That's Twin Peaks episode 10, season 2. Let us know what you thought of this one in the comments below. It's just weird. It's weird. I get why people enjoy watching these like or reviews like when we're doing the exciting stuff, and I get why like they're looking forward to us like seeing them find out who the killer is, find the weird thing happens. Oh, there's aliens like sending messages when we get to those points because they know they're coming. I'm not sure what the excitement is for them for this chunk. You do?
People find glee in watching others be in misery and suffering, and they know that come next episode, this supposed worst one, we're gonna hate it, and they're gonna enjoy that.
Yeah, I may have the number wrong. I may have to check. Maybe 12, but
all right. Well, whenever it is, they're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, you're right. I do take glee in you being in misery. So
exactly.
There's some precedent to that argument. However, that'll wrap this up. So let us know what you thought of this episode. Get us on Twitter, @mailed_fuzz for channel updates. Individual Twitters are on the screen. Like and subscribe, all that usual nonsense. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.